Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rocks with a little bit of talk at the top. Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Plain Face Rocky here today with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. All right, rock stars. So I can't be on here long. I have a lot of shit to do today and not a lot of time to do it in. So I decided I was going to do this top of the blogs early so I can get it out of the way, get it edited and up to the rock stars. Okay, very first story up. We might as well talk about y'all stupid ass president. I haven't talked about him in a long time, so I figured I can go on and throw him in now. Evidently, he was scheduled to speak at Benedict College. It's a historically black college and university. Everyone was shocked to know that he had been scheduled to speak there. He was going there to talk about criminal justice reform, and there were a number of Democrats that was also scheduled to speak there, but on this particular day, y'all stupid ass president had top billing. So many people had opposition. Many people had certain feelings about that, myself included. It's one thing if we can legitimately say that, he's going to come to the table and actually have a conversation, create some dialogue. That's one thing. But normally what happens with him is he goes to these places. He uses that opportunity to make it look like, look, I'm here with the black people, the blacks, like he likes to call them. Damn, is it starting to rain? And I didn't even bring my damn umbrella back out here. Anyway, you guys, so he uses the opportunity to look like, he's trying to be there with the blacks. And then he goes on to take credit for everything that has ever happened good for the black people, or the blacks. I'm sorry, I need to remember that. For the blacks, I've done more for the blacks than any other president ever in history. Okay. I'm sure I'm paraphrasing, but I'm sure he said something exactly like that in the past a few times. So I was just like, this is just going to be another one of those situations where it's like a photo op and I couldn't understand why he needed to be there. But, all the time people are saying, Roxanne, you got to be able to open doors, and, you can't keep shutting people out, because how else is there any change made if, you're not willing to reach across the aisle? And, so I get all of that, but I still just be like, whatever the fuck. And, I don't trust him enough to, anyway. So anyway, the day came for him to come there to speak, and they're saying that the students and the faculty, they were both requested to stay in their dorms, to stay in their offices, because there were some security concerns. There was protests outside of where he was going to be speaking. There were people there that was also in support. So they were outside the gates, a few hundred people. But they're saying that for the most part, the students and the faculty did stay away from the speech. There was 7 students, evidently, that were allowed into the stadium or wherever he was speaking. But for the most part, they're saying that it was only political allies and the such that was there, filled up the room, basically so that Donald Trump can blow his head up even more, because everybody there was in support of him. So, I don't even know what's the purpose of these things. If you are going to, they didn't want them students there. They're saying it's a security concern, but really they knew that them students was going to get in there and they was going to boo him at best. They were going to harass him. He was probably not going to be able to get anything said or done, and they didn't want that. Okay, it has to show that he's at this HBCU and that everybody is in agreement, and that it worked out well. They didn't want to have a situation where they couldn't control what was being put out there. So we all know that, because otherwise them students ain't gonna do nothing to him. I guess they was worried they was gonna blast the flat jammy, and these are students. They're not doing that, but they are definitely going to voice their opinions and their feelings, and they, so they weren't going to be there for Donald Trump. So that's the reason why they didn't let them kids in there, ask them to stay away. And it's fine. Like I said, he always uses these opportunities to just kind of make himself look like he's there for the blacks. And I think 3 years down the line, I think we all got that now, right? That's it, though. What did you guys think about? I honestly will say I didn't even look up what he might have said. He might have said some real great things about criminal justice reform. Okay, I ain't even look at it. I'm biased. So I do have some rock stars that are Trump supporters, and they will come in, or I don't know if they're rock stars, but they will watch my videos sometimes, and they'll come in and, ask why we don't support our president and things like that. Well, that's y'all stupid ass president, not mine. I'd have told y'all that from the very beginning. So, I'm always going to use this time for you guys to get into the comments and, tell me if he did say some very glowing and, positive and, good things about criminal justice reform. Y'all have at it. I'm going to let y'all get in them comments, say whatever you want to say. Prayers up for my Cali rock stars. Okay, my West Coast rock stars out there. Man, my state is on fire. Okay. It's kind of gotten to the point where I talk about fires on the West Coast. I talk about tornadoes and hurricanes, down south and running up the eastern, border. Extreme snow blizzards and shit up at northwest and all of that. I mean, everybody has their thing that they deal with. And it seems like Cali now is just fires. Every year. I mean, fires are not new to California because California is completely dried out. Like, they have been in a drought for years. Even when you go, you can see cracks and shit in the ground. Like, it just looks like it's just depleted. They don't let them water. Well, maybe, I think they did lift this drought a little bit, but for the most part, they're encouraging people to not have grass, you would think that it was a desert state like Arizona or something, but they encourage them now to not have, to have like waterless lawns, rocks, cacti, and things like that. It's just dry as fuck. So you get the Santa Anas, which usually hits around this time of the year, and the winds are super high. The heat, they've had extreme heat these last couple of weeks. And that's all you need to spark up some sort of fire. It could be from a tree getting blown down, hitting an electrical wire, and then the next thing you know, it is a fire. And then these timbers, or did they call them timbers or embers? But whatever it is, it's the sparks that fly in the air, literally, and might fly all the way to another location and start up a fire there. And it just continues to bounce around. So literally, when you look at the map of California, you just see fires everywhere. It looks like the place is on fire. They've shut down schools. I know Palisades, Malibu, Santa Monica, Hollywood, Calabasas, all of those hilly areas where there's like a lot of brush. Those areas are in danger. I mean, you've got San Bernardino counties. That's a lot of places that are being hit up in Northern California. I mean, it's just really all over. And a scary thought, I have a lot of people that have reached out to me and asked me if my family was affected. My family lives in the city, so they're not in these other areas where there is a lot of brush. But I guess that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, fires, they can hit anywhere, right? But I think the most threat is where there is a lot of dried up bush and vegetation that's just zapped of any moisture at all. So my family is fine. Debbie's family does live out that way, so prayers up for her people, making sure that they're safe every day. I talk to her every day and I get a report on everything here every day. Y'all best believe I get reports from Debbie all the time on everything. Just prayers up to my Cali rock stars. I mean, everyone knows that there's nothing you can do much about a fire. You can just try to be as safe as you can be. When they tell you that it's time to evacuate, it's time to get the fuck on. And really, that's just really the best. Hopefully, they can get control of these fires, and people won't lose everything, okay? Because fires, not like an earthquake, you know. At least an earthquake, shit might fall off of the slabs or the foundations, and, you know, things crumble down or whatever, but you can kind of get in there and get some of your stuff. Fires is gone. So, and that's a scary thought for a lot of people. And so just prayers up for my Cali rock stars. You guys keep your head up, and hopefully they'll get control of this soon. And then I got a sad news to report. Rest in peace to John Witherspoon. You guys all know by now. Yesterday I woke up to the really sad news that he had passed. I don't think that they've said exactly how he's passed yet, but I was like, damn, 77 years old is not, you know. It's funny because as I get older, because I'm gonna be 50 next year, as I get older, then 70s doesn't seem like it's that old to me. I'm sure to the younger, you know, my younger rock stars, y'all like, no, Roxanne, that's pretty old. But I start to believe that in your 80s is when you start really getting old, and, you know, people start dying. But yeah, 77 years old. I don't know how he passed. I am under the impression that he was not sick and that they did not expect something like this to happen. But until they announce it, that's just my assumption. But yeah, sad, you guys. When I heard that, I was like, damn, you know how it is when something just, you find out something and you ain't never known him or anything, but he's just one of those names that have been around for so long, you can remember. I mean, not many people have so many iconic lines from different movies and TV shows that we all remember, whether it's Winky Dinky Dog, you know, from Hollywood Shuffle to Bang Bang Bang. You got the Coordinate, Boomerang, him being on the Boondocks, him being on the Wayans Brothers, him being on the Tracy Morgan Show. How can we forget Friday, right? He was one of those black comedic actors who we've just kind of taken in as our own, one that was always working. We've seen him on the Jamie Foxx show. He's been on so many things that he's just part of just kind of part of the fabric of like the black Hollywood comedians and actors. You know, John Witherspoon, you can picture him in your mind, and you can just remember all the times that he made you laugh. I was kind of bummed about that. Yeah, he's just worked with a lot of people and done so many things. It's always a trip when I'm looking at something from like back in the day and I can actually see him on there when he was younger. I'm like, damn, he has been working for a long time. Because I think I remember seeing him on something with Richard Pryor. You know, so it's just like he's been around so long that when these people do pass, you're like shocked. You don't expect them to die. I guess you just expect them to kind of just be around forever. But what's good about being an actor and being around in so many memorable films and TV shows is that you will always live on. Your legacy will live on, because we will continue to watch and laugh and enjoy and say those things that he's said. But they're saying he's a good guy. You know, so many actors and comedians that have worked with him, you know, expressed their condolences to his wife Angie, his 2 sons, I believe, that he has. They said that he had a large family, and yeah, everyone was feeling the extreme loss. So a host of family and friends that will miss him. He was 77 years old. Rest in peace to John Pops Witherspoon. All right, rock stars. So I just don't want to sound haterish when I say this next segment. We've got to talk about the little nigga known as KevinHart. You guys know that me and Kevin, I don't really like him. Now, I've enjoyed many of his movies, much of his stand-up. But over the years, I have just grown not to be the most fond of him. And if you guys have been watching me any length of time, then we've already been down the reasons why. Okay. Yet and still, I've never want to see anything bad happen to this man. Okay. I don't want him to die. I wouldn't want him to be paralyzed. I wouldn't want, bad things like that to happen to him. I can't knock his hustle. He's making money. He's making movies. He's wanted. And he was doing the damn thing. Okay. So with all that being said, we know about this accident that he had September 1st in the Calabasas Hills, where he was driving his old school car. What was it? A Barracuda, I think is what kind of car it was. He was driving it, or I'm sorry, they're saying that his friend was driving it. He was supposedly in the car with his friend, the friend's girlfriend, and himself. They lost control of the car, went off an embankment or went off the side of the road, and had a terrible accident. After that, the story gets all weird. His bodyguards or his security team came and pulled him out of the car, took him home. They called the ambulance some hour and a half later, left the two people that were in the car, and I guess the paramedics went there to help them too, went to his house to help him. And, we all just kind of was like, well, damn, like, first of all, you leaving the scene of the crime, which they do. That's what they do nowadays. But he had a back injury. His security team couldn't know that. They're not doctors. Okay. But it was more important to them to remove him from the scene. Not quite sure. That story has always been fishy. At best, it's fucked up that you would leave your friends who were injured too. I mean, we haven't heard anything about those friends. I don't know how bad or serious their injuries might have been. We've only heard about KevinHart. Something tells me that them friends was paid to be quiet. And there was always some, people were saying that he was probably the one driving, and that his team pulled him out of the car because it could have been a number of things. I mean, I guess they would have found alcohol in the system if it had been. But if he had been home for any length of time, maybe he had time to sober up. The details of that has always been pretty kept quiet. But yet and still, the man had some back injuries, had to get, I guess, a couple of his spine bones fused. And they said it was all bad. I don't know how to say this I just got to get my words right. I know I got some rock stars out there that's way more eloquent in the way that they speak and write. And you guys will be able to explain exactly what I'm trying to say here, but here it goes. I'm going to try. I felt like that video that he released yesterday was so very much self-indulgent and self-serving. I know that back injuries are serious. I know that the recovery is painful, that it is very extensive, and that it is hard. It is tough. Anybody that has had back surgery will tell you that. Okay, I have back problems that are minor when you compare it to something like this, and that shit is painful to me. Like when I have my back problems, it's bad. So I get how backs can be. And kudos to him that he was able to get himself together and really make a comeback and working hard on his recovery and all of that. But the video, you guys. The accident just happened September 1st. It's like you would think that he had been like out for a year and that we really had to really see his recovery, and so that we can be inspired by this. But I'm just like, it's literally been 2 months. You didn't release this whole video showing how you are on the road to recovery, which is good. Like, I'm not mad that he's showing that he's working on it, but it's just sort of like, I mean, why are we doing this again? Okay, the business side of me will say that he's doing that because he's got to show these movie companies and people that are concerned about what exactly is going on with Kevin Hart, because they have kept him pretty much under, we haven't seen him. But I'm sure he's trying to show to these movie places that, these movie studios that, yeah, listen, I might be fucked up right now, but I'm good. I'm coming back. I'm on the mend. The good thing about it is Kevin Hart was very much in good shape. I'm sure that helps him. He had extreme core strength, and he saw that probably helps him in his recovery as well. But I just don't even know how to put it. Like, I just felt like it was just sort of like, look at me, I'm special, I'm good, like I'm doing this, I'm coming back. And it's when we all would hope that that's what they're doing anyway. But I can't figure out how to explain it to you guys. It just seems like it was just more so of, look at how spectacular I am. Am I wrong to think that way, you guys? I might be. And I guess you should be proud of yourself if you know that at one point you could barely stand up, you could barely walk, shit was real bad for however, right after the accident. I mean, I guess that's something you would be proud about, but I just was like, the video, I'm still concerned about Kevin Hart. I know that a lot of people had a lot of money riding on him, and these studios, they want their return. Like, are you gonna be able to do this or not? Do we need to start looking for other short little black men to take the spot or not? Like, what is it? So I'm sure he had to put something like that out for them. But I'm hoping that he's not rushing himself back, because when you hear people talk about spine fusions, okay, my real rock star doctors out there, I'm sure you guys can tell us that shit ain't no joke. That's nothing that you want to rush back, from, and you need to really get your recovery under control. We don't even have to mention how a lot of people who are really in a hurry to recover, or even not in a hurry, just a lot of people who are in extreme pain from their back, somehow get addicted to painkillers. We've heard even the best of our athletes getting addicted to painkillers because the pain is so bad that they can't help it. They have to take these pills, and then it turns into an addiction. So there's a lot of things that Kevin Hart is going to be fighting and going through. And I just hope he's not rushing himself back so that he can try to hurry up and get back to these movies. I mean, he wasn't like no stunt person, Tom Cruise type of actor, but he was a pretty physical actor at times. And, it's just sort of now, I hope that I'm like all over the place, right? Because I'm concerned about him rushing back, but then I'm also thinking to myself, like, why would you put this video out? Like, you really trying to make yourself look like this? So, I got all these weird feelings about Kevin Hart, but I just was like, that video, when I saw it, I didn't get the all inspired feeling that I guess other people got. Okay, does anybody out there understand what I'm saying? Am I fucked up for thinking this way? Maybe I am. Y'all let me know, though. All right, you guys, now Tyler Perry Studios just had his official grand opening of his Tyler Perry Studios out here in Atlanta, Georgia, on the old Fort McPherson military grounds. And, we talked about that, he big ups Tyler Perry and all of that. He's got big things happening there already. I mean, he already was, because movie companies were already using his studio. It just hadn't been officially opened. But now they're announcing that the next Democratic political debate will be there November 20th. All right. And they're saying that the candidates will include Joe Biden, Julian Castro, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Pete. Oh, I don't even know how to say his last name. Okay. Andrew Yang, and Tom Sayer. And I must say, for my Bernie supporters out there, because y'all was mad at me when I was talking about Bernie, Bernie's doing good. Okay, I told you guys I would admit when, I hear that Bernie is doing well. Okay, and he still got his good foot in the race. So, hopefully anything is going to be better. anything will be better than y'all stupid ass president. But anyway, the debate will be there. It's going to be, I think it's hosted by MSNBC, yes, and it will feature 4 female moderators, MSNBC hosts Rachel Maddow and Andrea Mitchell. Okay, I don't know what my words, y'all. NBC News White House correspondent Kristen Welker and Ashley Parker, who is a White House reporter for the Washington Post. And this is a good look for the studio. I mean, people take him seriously, take the studio seriously, and they should. That studio is amazing. The studio also is, has a lot of star power over there right now, because not only is Coming to America 2 being filmed there, and around Atlanta, because I actually believe I saw them over at Rick Ross's house filming as well. But anyway, Coming to America 2 is filming there, and so is Bad Boys. Is it 3? Bad Boys 3? Yeah, it's just been 2. Yeah, so Bad Boys 3. And so you got Will Smith, you've got Eddie Murphy, you've got Martin Lawrence. I mean, you imagine, like I said, the star power that's over there right now? Makes me feel good that these black movies are being filmed in this black studio. Jada was like, Mom, can we get a tour of this studio? I said, yeah, Jada, it's not like Universal Studios. They don't give tours. So, but it would be cool to kind of drive by there, even though everything is deep back into the lot. But it would be cool to kind of drive by there and happen to bump into somebody. Trust me, you wouldn't bump into nobody, though. You guys, now it is with sadness that I must report that Niecy Nash and her, well, now soon to be ex-husband Jay Tucker, they've called it quits. Yesterday they jointly released a statement that says, and I quote, "We believe in beauty of the truth." Let's start that again. We believe in the beauty of truth, always have. Our truth is that in this season of our lives, we are better friends than partners in marriage. Our union was such a gorgeous ride, and as we go our separate ways, we now feel fortunate. We feel as we go our separate ways now, we feel fortunate for the love we share. Present tense. Thank you all out there for your support of us as a couple over the past 8 years. We are grateful. 8 years, y'all. But what I done told y'all about them 7 years, y'all gonna believe me one day. That shit is not, no, I'm not playing when I tell you guys 6, 7, 8, the shit gets tough. So they're actually saying that they've been having problems for like maybe around the last couple of years. Evidently Jay was not happy with the show Claws. You know, Niecy Nash evidently had her body redone. I'm not sure if it was for the show, but you know, she, you know, we now know her as like this brick house shape that I guess she didn't have beforehand. She was always busty and stuff to me, but anyway, he wasn't happy with that. Okay. On top of that, she moved down to New Orleans to film film the show. And I guess she was down there for extended amounts of time while she's filming away from him. So he did not like that idea either. I guess he didn't want to move down there, because I'm thinking to myself, like, what does he do? You know, no shade, like, but what does he do? What does Jay do? Okay. Maybe he does work, but he didn't want to go to New Orleans with his wife, and that's fine. You don't have to do that. But when shit is rocky, then I guess that can create the distance can create a problem. And then they're saying that he also was unhappy with the sex scenes on the TV show, that they were very graphic, which they were. Okay. But then I'm thinking to myself, like, but you're married to an actress. Like, I mean, what do you think happens? You're not going to always get a time when, they just won't have sex scenes and all of that. I mean, it wasn't like any TNA was showing, but, you could use your imagination for sure. But I guess when shit is already rocky and, you might be feeling insecure about certain parts of your relationship, then, that just compounds the issue. So all of these things that happened to him and her now have resulted in this divorce. They say that she put her house on the market out there in California. in July quietly. And he hasn't been around. He wasn't around for the premiere of Claws. He wasn't around when she was elected, when she was nominated for the Emmy for When They See Us. He hasn't really been around when before they were always together. Sad, because I thought that they were happy. She always talked about her relationship. You guys remember the infamous conversation about her giving her man a blowjob every day. And I was thinking to myself, like, girl, you is better than me. Remember, she was just like, before he walk out the door, you just drop down to your knees. I was like, and what you supposed to get back in return? We just blowjobbing all the damn time? Okay, child, too much for me. But I mean, if that's what worked for her, then that's what worked. But you ain't, okay, let me not know. That's not this kind of story. So all of these things that she was doing to keep her relationship together, obviously just didn't work. And at some point, Jay was feeling like, insecure and they just, the shit just didn't work no more. Now, like she said, they supposedly still good friends, and people always say that. But as of now, it hasn't gotten to be bad in their separation. What's interesting though is in this source, because this was an article that was from Daily Mail, somebody sent to me yesterday. The source is saying that Niecy Nash loves the idea of being married and being in a relationship, so don't expect the grass to grow under her feet too long, okay? And I took that to mean that she's probably already involved with somebody else romantically. They're trying to keep that shit on the DL until, the divorce is finalized, and they will announce whoever it is that she's talking to. Granted, somebody don't find out and blast her about it beforehand, because who says these things? We talking about you getting a divorce and you say, oh, don't worry about it, she gonna be with somebody else soon. It's just sort of like, huh? So I kind of feel like they kind of are trying to get in front of that, just in case the story does break that she's seeing somebody else. They already told you, oh, Niecy Nash loves to be in a relationship, so that's that. But, I thought they were happy, but shit happens. It always happens. So it's not that big of a shock, but I'm sad for her. You just got to move on with life, right? Claws season 4 will be coming. That'll be the final season. Maybe after that, maybe they can work on trying to work it out and get back together. Maybe he'll be happy that she ain't on the show no more. And, maybe he can feel better about the fact that she's not having these graphic sex. I was thinking to myself, like, child, if he's feeling like that, could there possibly, look at me trying to start rumors, but could there possibly been some sort of something between her and some of her sexual, the people that she was involved with on the TV show as her character does in The Sims? Okay, that would be Rolla. That would be the Haitian doctor, I don't know, but interesting, right? Don't let me get to start no rumors, y'all. Okay, but shout out to Niecy Nash and Jay. Okay, y'all going y'all separate ways, but keep your head up. Okay, I'm sure something better, bigger, and brighter will come along soon. And then lastly, you guys, in quickies, the beef between T.I. and Iggy. You guys know I don't feel like talking about T.I. I feel like he's a male chauvinist, and I think he takes a lot of opportunities to kind of be harder on women than men. That's just sort of my opinion. I didn't know that T.I. was involved in Iggy's career, but then I started thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, maybe I did, and I just didn't remember. But whatever it was, when I think Iggy, I don't think T.I. Okay? I just don't. So him saying that was the biggest blunder of his career, first of all, I think that he brought more attention to the fact that he was even working with her at one time, because I'm wondering, did a lot of people remember that they were working together? But secondly, I don't even think she was all that big of a blunder. Like, Iggy was like a lot of rappers out there, kind of one-hit wonderish or one-hit album wonderish. And at one point she was hot and everybody wanted her, and then she wasn't. And nobody wanted her. But that happens to a lot of rappers, female and male. Mostly male, because there's not as many female rappers to even have a fall from grace kind of thing, But I don't know much enough about that subject to even talk about it. I just know my feelings that are personal about T.I., you know, the intelligent adjacent. I just didn't think she was a blunder, no bigger than any of the other male artists that he might have had that had promised to be big and then, you know, didn't. So I can't with T.I. I can't. And I don't even really care much about Iggy, but T.I. I can't. They're saying that Moneybagg Yo and Meg the Stallion have broken up, you guys. I was like, I'm fucking fixing to be 50. Well, what the fuck I know about a Moneybagg Yo? I didn't know what the nigga looked like. I was like, let me try to scroll through this with my younger rock stars and figure out what the situation is here. And it looks like, I guess they're saying that he done got some stripper pregnant. I even think I saw a post yesterday where he was saying that he wasn't even really with Meg the Stallion, that was just set up to look like it was, and that he had been with the same bitch. He kept on saying the same bitch 10 years. That's how you refer to your girl? I mean, I know it's hip hop and shit, but please don't call me your bitch. Don't do that. Just women, rock stars, my young ones, my older ones, that ain't cute. Don't let them call you a bitch like that, and that's your man. Anyway, so I don't know what the situation is, but it's seeming like they were subtweeting each other, and, you know, Meg saying shit like, you know, she don't even chase alcohol. Why would she chase a nigga? And certain things like that. I mean, young things at her age, that's what the kids do. Like, you know, so they move on. Like, I didn't expect them to be trying to get married and shit like that anyway. I read somewhere that they were a power couple. I was like, a power couple? I don't even know what he looks like. You know, my dad knows who Cardi B is. When you get to the point where your 82-year-old daddy know who somebody is, my dad who knows who Nicki Minaj is. My dad don't know who Moneybagg Yo is. He don't even know who Meg is. Okay? So, yeah, I'm gonna need it to be more a national, universal known person before we start saying that they power couples and all of that song. But hey, if they have broken up, they both young, you know, I'm sure that they'll meet somebody that'll make them happy in the future. So, and lastly, you guys, many of you will be happy to know that Popeyes has announced that they are about to re-release the chicken sandwich November 3rd, and they're promising to have quite a bit on hand. You ain't got to worry about it running out. You ain't got to worry about long lines. You ain't got to be worried about waiting. They ready for y'all niggas. Y'all go on down there and get your little sandwich this weekend, Sunday. Let me know if they change the taste. I was like, because, you know, a lot of times when they finally get enough for everything, you know, I think people are just really going to be over it. This is just like the Patti LaBelle, the Patty Pies. Once the sensation is done and everybody moves on. But, yeah, maybe you'll be happy to know that. And also, you guys, this daylight savings ends on Sunday, 2 a.m., I believe they say. So make sure you guys put your clocks back and you will gain an hour. All right, rock stars, I've been out here longer than I thought I was going to be, so let me hurry up and get on back to work. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Nope, we do this every single week. That's the ending for this one. So make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars, bye.